There was a crisis that took place in April of 2017 on a United Airlines plane. This crisis went viral on Facebook, with many commenting that they would never fly United again. Although it was about a year ago, I remember when I took a trip to Mexico on February, looking up who was responsible for this and ensuring that I did not get a flight from this company. I also remembered the PR on this being a disaster, so I wanted to look at the case myself and see what I could have done differently to communicate to the public. On April 9th of 2017, a gentleman named Dr. David Dow was forcibly removed from an airline belonging to United Airlines. Dr. David Dow was a customer who paid for his seat the same as anyone else did. This customer was a 69-year-old Vietnamese doctor that was forcibly removed from his seat on the aircraft by not one, but 4 aviation officers. Dr. David Dow was not the only individual that was asked to change flights that day. 4 other individuals on that flight were also asked to change their flight. However, the other individuals did not experience the same fate as Dr. David Dow. Let me begin by explaining the response initially given by United Airlines CEO Oscar Munoz. The first response given by the CEO, according to an article from CNN, was, quote, "This is an upsetting event to all of us here at United. I apologize for having to reaccommodate these customers. Our team is moving with a sense of urgency to work with the authorities and conduct our own detailed interview of what happened. We are also reaching out to the passenger to talk directly to him and further address and resolve the situation." This response was posted on April 10th at 10:24 a.m. onto United Airlines' Twitter account. However, according to PR Week, the CEO sent an internal letter to his employees stating his support of his employees and described Dr. Dow as being, quote, "belligerent and disruptive," end quote. According to the New York Times, after a day of changing statements, the CEO apologized and promised a review of its policies. On April 11th, United Contingent Holdings is down $1 billion from its market value. Oscar Munoz, CEO, then issued an apology, taking responsibility for the actions and making a promise to make it right. His apology also stated that he planned on doing an investigation and would release the results by April 30th. After this apology, their market value recovered but was still down $250 million. Oscar Munoz appeared on Good Morning America on April 12, 2017, 3 days after the incident had occurred, for an interview where he apologized for his initial reaction and for not responding properly in the first place. The CEO at this time admitted that the passenger, Dr. David Dow, was in no way responsible for what took place on the aircraft that day. On April 13th, 4 days after the incident, Dow's attorney, Tom Demetrio, calls out United Airlines for treating their passengers like, quote, "cattle." According to his attorney, Dow suffered from loss of teeth, injury to his sinuses, a concussion, and a broken nose. United Airlines stated that it would never again use officers to forcibly remove passengers from an aircraft unless they are a threat to themselves or others. United made some headway on April 16th by confirming that they have changed their overbooking policy. United's policy now states that they are not able to remove passengers that are already seated. United Airlines got a lot of backlash from people in America as well as other countries, such as China, who stated they wanted to boycott the company after the event and after the initial response given by United Airlines. Even Merriam-Webster, a well-known company that produces dictionaries, wrote on their Twitter account stating what the definition is of volunteer, according to the article by New York Times. Now that we have discussed what initially took place on the United Airlines craft and how the company responded, I would like to issue a statement of how I would have handled the situation differently from the beginning. The first thing that they could have done was admitted fault. So, as an example, there was an incident that took place on a plane that belonged to United Airlines today. The issue occurred because the flight was overbooked. Our procedure usually calls for us to offer individuals compensation during boarding to switch flights. The only reason an aviation officer would typically be called is if an individual was refusing to cooperate. Regardless, officers and United Airlines employees were never instructed to physically abuse our customers, which is sadly what happened to Dr. David Dow. There is no denying the abuse he went through to get removed from the plane. We at United Airlines sincerely apologize to those affected and plan to take corrective action immediately. United Airlines does not condone physical abuse of our customers. The individuals involved acted on their own free will to harm Dr. David Dow, and that is not something that United Airlines supports. To ensure that this does not happen again, we will ensure to get appropriate training to our staff on how to deal with these types of situations properly. The staff that is responsible has had proper corrective actions taken as per company policy. We sincerely apologize to Dr. David Dow, as well as any other individuals that were affected by this event. We understand that there are families and children on our flights, and that is not something that any of them should have had to witness, let alone endure. Now that I have given an example of a better way to have approached this situation, I would like to conclude by stating that United Airlines could have handled the situation regarding Dr. David Dow correctly in the first place by admitting their fault and asking forgiveness. This is something that many managers can learn from, as there was an immediate backlash from society. If a company is in the wrong and it is well known by the audience and by the company, then the company should immediately take responsibility for its faults and begin taking corrective action immediately. Thank you.